St Augustine Street leads north out of the city to the site of St Augustine's Gate. We will look firstly at the right hand side and come back on the left, then have a look at the Gildencroft area. The Rose Inn had been the site of an inn since the 14th century. It was renamed the Old Crome in 1972 before closing in 1981. Its name is recalled in Rose Yard, once one of the largest yards in the city, running through to Edward Street, making Rose Yard more of a street in its own right. The neighbouring Coleman's Opticians has some great old photos of the area in its window. This is the 2022 view of number 13 onwards, compared to how it looked in 1938 with Anne's Wool Shop, the Toffee Shop and a hairdresser. Continuing along the street, the cream building to the left of the tall blue building was the Bushel Pub, which closed in 1928, 8 years before this 1936 photo. Zipping along quite speedily now, these are numbers 31 to 33, seen here in 1938, and these are numbers 35 to 39, 39 being the Prince of Wales Pub, which ran from 1763 to 1969. Among so many pubs that were once on a relatively short street, the Catherine Wheel is the only one still in use as a pub. Dating from 1741 originally as a thatched building, it was rebuilt in the early 1800s. Turn down the road beyond it, Catherine Wheel opening, and you'll see the remains of the city wall, seen here in 1981. This is the final stretch of St Augustine's, but we must go just beyond it to recall the history of this site. Previously St Augustine's swimming pool, before that it had been St Augustine's School, which had been destroyed in the Second World War. This picture shows children at the school practicing an air raid in 1940. Looking back towards St Augustine's, this is Bishop's Shoe Shop, and the current 2022 view looks like this. On the opposite side of the street, the building on the right was the Scarf of Life Pub, which closed in 1971, and the building on the left was at one stage a TV shop run by former Norwich player Tommy Bryceland. Between the two is the site of St Augustine's Gate. A little further up, again in the pavement, hang on, get those feet out. In the pavement is Royal Oak Yard. This was the Royal Oak at number 64 St Augustine's, seen in 1936. It closed in 1972, and this is the view in 2000 compared to the current view. On the corner of Sussex Street, this was Bill's Pizzas in 1986, but had previously been the Sussex Arms. It's now Bombay Spice. Sussex Street was established in the 1820s on what was part of Gildencroft. More about that shortly. On the opposite corner of Sussex Street, the cream-coloured building was the Wine Cooper's Arms until 1936, and by the time of this photo in 1938 it was a tea and coffee bar. As so often, the original pub is recalled in the yard name. A wine cooper was a person who samples, bottles and sells wine. This photo is looking at it from the opposite direction in 1938, together with the present day view. St Augustine's Church is the most northerly in the city walls. The original Norman church was rebuilt in the 15th century with the distinctive red brick tower added from 1682 to 87, with the result that the nickname Red Steeplers has been given to local residents. On to Gildencroft. These pictures show the street called Gildencroft next to the church in 1936, in 1956 with the buildings needing restoration, and now in 2022. If you are walking this way at night, beware of the Gildencroft bogey, an imaginary monster frightening children to behave. As this 1741 map shows, Gildencroft was a much bigger area running from the current Inner Link Road to the city wall between St Augustine's and Oak Street. A pillar, as you enter the remaining open area of Gildencroft, highlights its history on the edge of the city as an area for such activities as jousting and camping, which had nothing to do with tents but was an early and violent form of football. The park today is peaceful and serene, with the sound of children's voices in their play area, but I wonder how many of its users know its very long history.